taking a look at Cleona Zeitengale. What a name! And this one seems to be pretty simple because her pose is very plain. She's just standing, walking forward. The model itself doesn't have a lot of detail in like the various extremities and the limbs. Okay, so for this one, oh, Taurus, you got some tips? All right, let me take a look. Man, I tell you, when I was clipping out the hand, I was so afraid that I would clip off her pinky. The joint is right on the bottom side of her hand to the sprue. And yeah, you want to be extra careful. If you feel like you're getting really close, I would recommend that you put the texture paint on before you glue on the back piece. Okay. Yeah, that's a good tip, Otaris. Texture paint first and then the back piece. So okay, so we'll do this first, right? We'll put her on first and then we'll do the texture and then we'll put the back piece on. Actually, you know what? That reminds me, before I get any further, this should be first. Because that ogre guy, man, if you do what I did and put that on first, it's going to be hard to get in. Not 100% necessary, but it makes putting the texture on less annoying. There's nothing more annoying than putting texture paint on and getting it on like the tabards and all the hanging areas. That is really frustrating. Okay. So yeah, let's do that. Let's try it and let's see how it goes. So we're going to start with 12, which looks like the head, right? And then 10, which is the majority of the body. Scary nun lady time. Not a fun scary nun lady either, like the Deptosauritas. All right, let's get the instructions out so we can focus a little bit better. Scary nun lady. Can you even see her face if you turn it? No, not really. All right, that'll be fun to paint. It's got my ring light charged up. So let's pop it on. There we go. Now we can see what we're doing. Sisters of Battle Struggle. I mean, except for the silly hat. She looks like something you would find in one of the new Star Wars movies. Yeah. It seems okay. I mean, it still seems kind of cartoony, but you know what, guys? At this point, I've accepted that Age of Sigmar isn't really my thing, and it's not what I want out of a fantasy-themed war game, but it is its own thing. So it's whatever it wants to do, this thing it's going for, it's really bought into it, it's doing it, and I can't fault them for that, you know. They wanted to go away from the Middle Earth, like dark fantasy setting for this crazy Mortal Realm setting, and they're doing it. And they're bringing back old favorites like Croak and Be'lakor. So who am I to judge? I don't have a miniatures company. I just grumble on the internet about it. All right, now we're looking at 13 and 11, which are the two hands. Yeah, okay. Simple build, guys. Front, back, arms. And then when you're ready for it, the honkin' back piece. So it looks like, let's dry fit this sucker on. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, it looks like it's angled forward. Okay. So we'll get our glue into the slot. The staff arm is kind of awkward. Yeah, I just noticed that. When I was dry fitting it. It's a weird join right at the shoulder. Looks like this is supposed to be hanging right out there. See, look at the back there. Got to line up the little doodads under the arm with the robe. Yeah. But see, like I could still see the nub there. Something that big and detailed in plastic. Yeah, I know. Is it? Oh, okay, I get it. I had it angled like she's holding the staff like out, but it's really tucked in close to her body, it looks like, because that's the way it fits. Yep, that's the way to get that angle in. Okay, so they make it really, I don't want to say foolproof, but they guide you to the way they want this thing to be angled by having the nub that's sticking out of her shoulder line up a certain way with the staff arm. Not the way I would have chose to have it. Yeah, the arm position does kind of throw me off to Taurus. It seems like the staff should be a little bit out towards the side instead of her pointing it forward like it's a weapon. Especially because she's doing some kind of magic-y thing with the left hand here. All right, let me check the angle. See, how does this... Oh, man. That's not right. Oh, okay. It's like down like that. Come on, nun lady. How does this... Great YouTubing. How does this work? Because her head thing is like right where the angle of this should be. Like, this is the only way for it to work. Oh, no. Turn around. That doesn't match. Will the ribbons hanging down from her back make it hard to paint the cloak? Personally, like, this is so weird. How do you get this on? Because look at this thing hanging down off of her head. That's right where her arm nubbin should be. Personally, Monsieur P237, I don't think it will. I'm going to do less painting or less highlighting on the back because of it, but I don't think it should make it too hard to paint the dress. See, look, tell me how this makes sense. Otaris, you need to help me out with this, buddy. How do you get that arm on when her head is blocking the peg? Yeah, I know. And then, like, it's supposed to end up like, oh, it's supposed to end up like her hand is up. And the shoulder pad is kind of behind. Okay. Let me try that. Something like this. Straight in. See, that's still weird. Angle it extremely upwards and then rotate it. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought I had done. Upwards and then... or the other way. Man, you guys, this is quality YouTubing right here. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. Brains. Something like that. Yeah, Monsieur, it is supposed to snap on, but I prefer to glue my miniatures. So even though they say, oh, you don't need glue, it's supposed to snap on, I do like to glue my figures. It looks like she's trying to give you a hug like a creepy auntie. Close enough. Nope, that's right. She is trying to give you a hug like a creepy auntie. Look at that. Oh, Timmy, you've grown so big. You've grown so large since I've last seen you give your Aunt Florinda a kiss. No, creepy lady. All right. Yeah, I mean, Otaris, it's a weird look. And that's a weird way to get it on. See, when you check the behind, there's some weird seams. I guess that's what the back part is for. You're gonna be covering up the majority of that. Oh, I see what you mean, Monsieur. I thought these little strips were a little space farther apart. But it is gonna be quite tricky to get in there. I wonder if you would paint, I mean, like, literally it doesn't matter, because what I would do, my plan would be to paint to spray prime the entire model red, since that's the predominant color, and that's the color that's going to be underneath all of these strips. You spray prime it with Mephiston red, and then you can repaint like the white and the gold, all the white strips in the back, the silver and the purple. You can repaint everything, but getting that initial primer on, you're going to need a color primer that can go between the cracks. So I try to avoid sub-assembly. Yeah, I do too, man. I don't mind sub-assemblies for bigger models, like my artillery pieces or vehicles, usually. But for smaller models like this, oh, look at that. I snap fit the thing and now it won't come off for me to glue it. Games Workshop, no, stop trying to make me not use my plastic glue. Oh, man. It's really on there. Okay, well, you know what? Then we'll just put some glue in under there. We'll work the glue in. I'm still going to glue it, and I'm pretty determined not to use sub-assemblies. Hey, what's up, Max Hammer? What up, what up? Blurry, blurry. Sorry, guys. There we go. GW laughs in capitalist. I try not to do sub-assemblies for infantry, and I try not to magnetize. I figure I could just tell my opponent what I want to use, and if every edition they change what weapon is best, since I don't play tournaments and stuff, it doesn't really make sense to me. It's not worth the effort of magnetizing and being able to switch out all the weapons and having to paint every single option. Some people like it, like having the freedom to just snap off and on whatever they want, but personally, I do enjoy my model to be completely glued together. Oh, shoot! Otaris, my bad. I forgot to put the texture paint on. You know what? Oh, man. Messed up. That's okay. I was so busy thinking ahead. I'd forgotten all about how you told me not to do the texture paint after. But that's okay. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to... Let's see how we put it on. Magnets do make sense for bigger models. Yeah, if you're using a bigger model and you want the different weapon options, I could see magnetizing, like a dreadnought or something. But for just an infantry guy, yeah, slightly more annoying. For just an infantry guy, like if you want your command squad to have plasma weapons, and then for the next game, you're like, I'll take the plasma weapons, do something else. If you're just trying stuff like that, I don't think there's much need. Your opponent should just be like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. Try whatever you want, instead of you having to do the work to paint up all the separate options. But I mean, I grew up in Hawaii where our gaming community was so lax on that kind of thing. Only a couple people were really into the you have to represent it on your model kind of thing. And give your creepy Aunt Cleo a hug, boy. We just watched, the Lady Boss was watching Julie and Julia, that Julia Child movie with Meryl Streep and Amy Adams. And that's the voice I imagine Our Lady here having. Reading and assembling painting. Thank you, monsieur. I try to do what I can. My video is definitely not for, if you've noticed, guys, real talk here, let's be honest for a second. If you've noticed some of the YouTube videos that come out now, and especially even Games Workshop, their tutorials are basically you use this color, and then he'll get started painting it. And I was watching his Warhammer Quest Cursed City videos. He'll start painting a little section, and then they'll fast forward, and the entire thing is painted. And sometimes maybe you want to see how certain angles, how he reaches like the back of the dress now, especially since I glued the thing on. I would like to see every stroke if I can. Unfortunate name, Corona. Yeah. I would like to see every stroke if I can, and if I want to fast forward, it'd be nice to have chapters to be like, okay, I don't need to see how he paints on every single piece in this color. So I'm trying to do that with my videos now. With my tutorials, I want to move, chop them up from segment to segment. So you can do that if you want to just speed through and just get a basic idea of the colors. Or if you want to hang out, if you want to paint and chat and chill and have me playing in the background, I can take you through the entire process from very first paint stroke all the way to the end. That's kind of my goal with my videos. This lady is going to be not so much fun to paint, the back part. I'm assuming, I'm pretty sure, because you also have to hit the demonetization. You also have to hit the strips on facing the front, right? So not only are we talking about how are we going to paint the back of her dress, the back of her armor, all of that. Oh, that's another part I didn't think about, her armor. We can still do it, guys. I mean, hey, worst comes to worst, we don't paint any of it. We'll just paint this, we'll paint the front, and we'll put her on the table. Nobody's gonna see her unless you actually pick her up and turn her around. Oh, you didn't paint the back of her armor. That strap going across her back is not painted. Like, who cares? It's a hobby. We're doing it for fun. Like all of the other miniatures I've built so far, I'm going to be using AK Rough Terrain Texture. Oh, another tip for those of you who have this product or are thinking of getting it, I haven't even touched the inside of it. Makes me hungry for oatmeal. I've only been working with like scraping off the top of the lid here, and it just works so well. Man, come on, AK, give me a sponsorship. I will totally promote your products because I love this texture product. And what do I use? I use the flat edge of this modeling tool to just pat it down, but I use the knife to scrape up the actual stuff there. And look at that. You have enough just from using that little bit of the lid to completely cover her her base. Boop, 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 boop. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not really getting a good angle on it because of the camera, so I guess I can do it. And then let's slather it on. Let's just be messy. I've been watching Bob Ross a lot on Hulu, and you guys, if you ever feel like the world is or life is getting overwhelming and you want to see some just great artistic positivity, Bob Ross is the man. Yeah, she's getting it all over her dress. She's a messy lady, but I'm gonna clean it up in just a second. Oh boy, that's messy. Oh boy. Oh, what a mess. I love how like everything he does seems so counterintuitive. When you see him work, he'll just slap on a color that makes no sense. And then by the end, he's made it a whole new thing. Like he'll have a perfect, beautiful blue ocean, and then he'll just throw some orange paint out there, and you're like, "You ruined it, Bob. What are you doing?" And then you look at it 5 minutes later, and he's turned it into an island. It's so cool. I love watching him work. Get a little texture on the feet. That's fine. Yeah. Some people are like, "Oh, you've got some of the paint on the boots," but I always think like, they're not just standing still and having their feet be perfectly clean. Like this is a very messy battlefield. Yeah, that's ruined and saved is how I see every Bob Ross episode. It's like, oh, you ruined it, Bob. Oh my gosh, Bob, you saved it. He's like my he's my spirit animal. Bob Ross is my spirit animal. Okay, there, I just took you through a messy way of applying the AK rough texture. It's totally fine if you get some on the base of the model. It actually works sometimes if the model is trudging through, like you've got a vehicle or troops that do a lot of marching and running and moving. If it does look like, oh, I don't like that, or Boss Ross, if it does feel like, oh, that's a little too much, just take a brush that you're not really too fond of, an old brush or a brush that you don't really use too much, and then just wipe away at the parts at the bottom. My thing is, the thing that I try with all of my models when I'm putting on texture paint is that I don't want the texture paint to actually be connecting the model to the base. Like if they've got a skirt or a long dress like this, even if you've got some of that texture paint on the bottom because she's trudging through the battlefield, I try not to have her completely mired in the battlefield, if that makes sense. So I just wipe away right here at the bottom, so you've got a little bit of a gap between the bottom of the model and the base itself. Yep, you were right, Otaris. This back part is a little messy with the texture, but that's okay. She went out, she made the choice to wear this ridiculous outfit to work, so she is going to have some of it touching the battlefield. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're almost at 20. We're going to call it there. This is a pretty fun model to put together. Very easy, one of the easier models in the Warhammer Quest Cursed City game. Let's take a look at what we've got next on the block. Glario Van Alten. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces on the base. It looks like he's marching forward. He's got his left hand on the hilt of his sword at a horizontal angle behind him, and he's got his pistol up. Pretty cool. All right, you guys, I hope you stay tuned for that one, Glario Van Alten. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks for the tips, Otaris. Thanks for hanging out, and see you in the next video when we tackle this guy in a couple of minutes. Latest players.